Well, so you got to see a video, but you didn't get to hear it. On my screen, it looked like the music was moving, so I don't know. I'm going to have to work on that, I guess. Very strange. My audio bar was working there. So what's going on? We've got another show of Let's Talk Tridactyls. I see we've got some guests in the waiting room. What is there to say? Well, we're going to give away another Tridactyl replica skull tonight, Josephina. I'm looking to try to get a full-size replica. Wouldn't that be cool? And this little guy's great and all, but imagine this 2 feet tall. That would be pretty sick, huh? Do you want to talk a little bit about Dr. Pilates, Celeste Pilates? Let's see. Dr. Pilates' assertions, speculations that the Tridactyls represent human beings from the future. Ooh. I'm not sure how you prove that, but this is the sort of thing that I hear, and I feel like maybe it's not my place, but I feel like it is my place to sort of put a kibosh to. It's kind of like those ancient, those alien artifacts. You know, if I see an artifact that I think is BS, or if I see a cave painting that looks like it's AI, I'm going to do the research and try to figure out for sure, because I hate to call anybody out and then you have to backtrack when you're wrong. It's like accusing someone of did you steal my phone? And it's like it's in your pocket, that sort of thing. And so I made a statement about the good doctor, and it was only after, again, he made this highly speculative, sort of hyperbolic statement about the time travel. But I did some cursory research into the gentleman, and I didn't see a strong background in anthropology. He seems to be a medical doctor. So when I said Dr. Pilates, a physician with limited demonstrable anthropological credentials, that wasn't meant as an insult. That means I literally didn't find any evidence of him working in anthropology. And I have to confess, the way he speaks doesn't sound very much like an anthropologist, especially, theories about future humans. So just to read my statement here, in fact, I can probably share it before we let the guys in the room here. Let's see here. Dr. Pilates, physician with limited demonstrable anthropological credentials, places disproportionate weight on cranial measurements to support a highly speculative theory that the Tridactyls are future evolved humans from Earth. He then extends that claim through a convoluted time intersection model involving the precision of the equinox, Earth axial tilt, and supposed temporal pockets in which separate timelines briefly converge. And I think one of his pieces of evidence he cited was the movie Quest for Fire. This is not a theory grounded in anthropological method, but a speculative construct layered onto selective anatomical interpretation. And as an aside, he speaks of that some great event must have happened to occur for Homo habilis. Well, Homo habilis could probably be also just, to some, we could call Homo habilis Australopithecus habilis, because the only reason habilis even has that handyman species moniker is because they were found with tools, which we know that chimpanzees create tools. So essentially, an entire genus was created at that point because of tools. Now, admittedly, some robust specimens of Homo habilis, or I should say, I guess robust specimens may look like one another, the habilis versus the Australopithecines. But then again, you could also say the gracile versions of these creatures look like each other. So it's not really a poke at Pilates necessarily, but he does mention it. So as an aside, the taxonomic boundary between the late Australopithecus Australopithecines and early Homo is less rigid than such arguments often imply. Homo habilis has long been treated as a threshold case and could plausibly be argued as Australopithecus habilis, particularly given that its original placement in Homo was strongly tied to tool association reflected in the species name itself, while tool use is also evident in Pan-troglodytes. So I just wanted to make that point there. We can stop that share. And let's bring on the gentleman. We have Fat Jesus Live, and we have Rebirth, who is going to give me, whoop, he's gone. And there he is, peekaboo. You're going to give me some advice on the audio. I'm not sure. You know, I purposely changed some settings here.
Am I on?
You're on, but you don't have your video.
I don't have my video?
Yeah, see, you got tech difficulties too.
Hold on.
See if this works. When you hit share screen, make sure right before you hit whatever screen you're on, there's usually a tab that says also share tab audio. And then you click that on.
Well, I'm actually sharing through the OBS.
Yeah, it won't. It has that. Yeah, it won't work through there. You
So-
have to. You should.
Okay, let me real quick then. While I have you guys here, it'll probably be easier for me to figure it out. You know, let me go ahead and try to play it again, and I'll do it
There I
that
am.
way. Well, how are you gentlemen doing? I can't believe you're back again, Mr. Rebirth.
Doing good, man.
Slumming
Always
it,
doing
huh?
good.
You're out slumming it over in Let's Talk Tridactyl Land. Now, I have posted some things in your direction, you know, an iconic version of Anne. I'm sure there's some there's some more than coincidence there, I think, with Anne and Anne iconic. And some of my other theories on the letters. You know, I don't talk about it too much because I feel like, you know, I get a little cranky when people talk about certain theories, but yet mine go overlooked, you know. So that's part of the thing with Pilati there, is that here people are sharing his speculative time traveling theory, and I'm trying to talk about parietal pineal glands and marine ear bones and larval forms, you know. So anyway, I was going to try to play that other song, wasn't I? So what do you guys have for us today? Anything interesting?
Well, I heard that you had time traveling on your head.
I did. I had some time traveling. Yeah, and you're an expert, aren't you?
I claim to be an expert.
Well,
I
so
I claim to be.
I mean, my only expertise in time travel, I think, comes from Star Trek and Marvel, and that's fiction. And so,
my expertise comes from since I've been 14 years old. I've been studying on time traveling throughout my whole entire life, in physics and reading about. Man, I've been reading about all this stuff throughout college and university, and asking a lot of questions to all these professors about time travel. Yeah, I always sounded like the lunatic at school, and the teachers didn't treat me like that though. They always they were like very interested in my comments, because it seems like every professor in the university setting, they would be like they would be very patient, and they would be interested in what the students would have to say, because every theory, every thought a person would have is more inviting, because it could be the next breakthrough.
And that's generally how I try to operate. I do try to, and I'm not here to poo-poo people's belief systems. That's certainly.
I don't know. I think you poo-pooed on that poor guy's belief system. He was like, he had some great ideas there, you know, and he kind of like he went ballistic on you.
Why do you think it's a great idea?
I'm not gonna say it's a great idea. I sounded like
did.
Trump. I sounded like Trump real quick.
It's really great.
It's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. But it's somewhat. I believe the idea of time travel is not proven. And anybody that tries to prove the idea of time travel, it would be a foolish endeavor. And anyone that tries to peer review time travel would be foolish enough to try and peer review it, because if you time travel, okay, here's the thing. This is where the expertise comes from. If you time travel, if you successfully time travel, let's say, for instance, you got the technology, you did it, boom, boom, bang, you just headed off into the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, who do you peer review your technology? Who do you tell
Oh, that's right. There's no
that you successfully time travel? Who do you tell?
I guess you would need another time traveler, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would have to have
Yeah, you
somebody,
gotta give that
and then you
information.
two go, oh my God, we did it. So who do you to tell? You both are lunatics now, you know, to a whole group of people. It's like,
I mean, it's
you're
fun
so
storytelling.
unbelievable.
It really is. I mean, what about Land of the Lost? Remember that
Yeah,
show?
it's just unbelievable. So
Back to the Future.
it's
There's always these paradoxes that come up during any of these time travel thought experiments.
You would have to be part of a clandestine private corporation that truly has gathered up the most intelligent people that truly believed in time travel, and they are the only ones, and they all are in this one building, and they built this time traveling machine, and they successfully did it, and they all have this mindset, and they are just doing it up, and that's it. They are just consolidating that whole idea, and the rest of the world has no idea it's happening. That's pretty much, that's it, you know. And we're just conspiracy theorying the whole thing.
All right, you guys ready
echo.
yeah, go ahead. Ready to try this again?
Echo.
Oh, now you have an echo from me? From me?
For us.
Oh, we're all echoing now?
I can hear
Yeah,
my
I
own
think it's
voice.
because you're about to play a song.
Okay.
Can I sing? Oh, this is just
Can you hear it?
video.
Okay. Feel free to dance.
I can feel them move deep beneath the ground, and I can hear them speak, but they don't make a sound. We made them signs to read. We carved them in the sand. We worshipped them with rituals we no longer understand. There's still much more for me to see. The things they hide away from me. This threat to my ontology. Tridactyl. The secrets hiding in the sea. This alien biology. The bodies with the fingers three. Tridactyl. Tridactyl. The air's so dry that I can't breathe. I'm out here all alone. And now I finally understand why you chose to make this home. The body is buried in the caves. The lights up in the sky. I don't buy your story. So I'll keep asking why. There's still much more for me to see. The things they hide away from me. This threat to my ontology. Tridactyl. The secrets hiding in the sea. This alien biology. The bodies with the fingers three. Tridactyl.
That was pretty good, man. You made this stuff? Can't hear you.
Whoa.
I did not. That is Drass. Eric
That is
Drass,
so cool.
who shared this. He shared it in my Reddit group.
Yeah,
What's
I
that?
remember him. Is that your friend Rebirth?
No.
No, that's not mine.
No, that's a different guy. Yeah, he shared it. I know, it's funny because we just talked about the other guy making a song. He shared it in my Reddit group, and he's like, "This seemed like an appropriate place to put this." And I actually like it because I like goth synth music. I would love to come. I've gotten too old to go to the clubs because the goth nights start at like 10 p.m. and like that's probably just about the time I'm calling it quits. So anywho's it. That was good, huh? That's some fun stuff right there, man.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Good stuff.
I just started recently decided to use Suno music.
Okay. Yeah, I did a Tridactyl song once there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it actually, I mean, a lot of people think that you just plug and play and it's supposed to come out with a good song. No, you can, to make a really good, interesting, ear-catching song, you have to go in there and do a lot of different things in there. And I made the video that I just posted on my YouTube channel today was a full video, full song that I did.
Oh.
So it's actually pretty interesting how
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people would say I don't like AI. Well, not everybody's an artist, not everybody's a musician,
Of
not everybody
course.
has these skills. But you can speak what you want to present. You can type out what you want to present and get as close as you possibly can to what you want. And that's why I like to use everything to my disposal to bring some type of education.
Of course. I've
people.
heard such bad it's because this is a good topic for us. It's one of those incidents where technology is advancing faster than society, and society doesn't know what to make of it. I play role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, and they've gone absolutely nuts with the anti-AI, and it's like, I'm not going to pay an artist for everything. So yeah, I'm going to use AI to create art,
Yeah, that's the other thing is that the only people who complain about that stuff are more than likely the people who are getting paid for it,
That or older boomer folk type people. This is, I'm going to dip my toes into the politics, but the term conservative, it means you are stuck in the past. You are trying to conserve culture and keep the old ways, And so that term can still apply, I think, to artistry. So that's cool. We're going to have to check out your song. And I'll probably show you guys some of the art I've created because I'm able to put my ideas into, sure, I could probably sit there and draw it, but it would take forever. And it wouldn't look that good, right?
That's what I say. Oh, we can't hear you, Jesus. We can't hear you.
Oh, it's been pleasant.
Still mute.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I enjoy using the AI stuff. I use it for my pictures because, like you said, if I'm only one, one thing about me is I do everything on my own. I go boots on ground. I create my videos. I create the art for it using AI. I do everything myself. There are people who have teams that do this stuff,
Mhm.
right? Some people, like even some podcasters, they have a
Oh, yeah.
producer. They have somebody that sends out the emails to get guests. They have, it's multiple people promoting their, one work. But then when you fall out without somebody, then it's no longer just your work. See, that's why I like doing my stuff by myself when I present it, because it's a simple fact that it's all my work. So everything that I put into it, I took the time and I created it. I grown from it. Nobody can say, well, I want part of this and I want part of that. No, the only people that can say they're part of anything are the guests.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah, man, you have no idea. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 6 years. Every person that I've ran into that had a group of individuals has lost at least 2 or 3 of their friends, and they were considered close friends. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that you could get to the point where ego gets in the way and all this other stuff, and it's just sad, man. It's really sad. That's why a lot of people have a hard time believing in the stuff like tridactyls in the first place, because they want to be the first person to say, hey, these tridactyls are real. You know what I'm saying? Once they figure out it's real Ed Costas and Jesus, y'all gonna be on it. They're gonna be like, hey, these guys been on it. They've been on it for years. They've been talking about it for years. They've been to conventions. They've been to, conferences. Everywhere. And there's going to be somebody who out there has a lot of money to spend to sit up there and say, well, I was the first one.
Of course. Yeah, I already know this is going to happen. Jesus knows I have this part of my acting group. I have this fictional character. And it's funny, we see like these fictional characters on big productions, and we're both like, did they rip me off? Because it feels like they ripped me off. And you never know if something's a coincidence or not. So I'm already well aware of that sort of phenomenon. And going back to what you said about working with people, my ex-girlfriend and I, probably a good thing that we were friends for a very long time before. And so we had a amicable split. And so, a lot of people don't realize that she is my benevolent benefactor when it comes to tridactyls. So she still helps me in 100 different ways with this. But it's not like she's a competitor or a competitive artist. She's just, again, like a benefactor. So it's a little different,
Yeah, it's crazy. Still can't hear you, Jesus.
So I was supposed to make a movie. I had a grant, and the grant was it was half of what I requested, and the grant was for a short film called Dystopolis, and the idea was a single city where there were different levels of society. So the bottom floor were like these characters you see here. I call them the Sundered. And since I decided not to do the film, partially because the gentleman that was my creative partner died mysteriously in his sleep. The grant was half of what I wanted, and I kind of did have a falling out with other artists, like you mentioned, a group of people. And instead of and this happens, I'm sure you've heard of this, and you realize that once you have a group of people, now you have all these other opinions. That's the benefit of being a dictator. If you are a dictator, you get to make unilateral decisions. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and use the AI to add stuff for a role-playing game. So if anybody's interested out there, hit me up. We're going to be playing a sci-fi. I say we. I have a mouse in my pocket. We'll be playing a role-playing game that's a sort of, I call it Space Trek Wars. So it's like a generic sci-fi setting, and you start off as the Sundered, and you have to deal with all these other people here, as you can see, using the AI. Here's the Corp. So some conceptual pictures here of what I'll be working with.
You could put those in a Grok and ask it to make and have it do like some videos for it. I've been using some of those
Is
stuff too.
Grok what you're going for that? Because I'm
No, I
wondering.
just use it for small things. Like I haven't found an AI yet that I'm comfortable to use for like videos and stuff like that. And I'm not sure
Okay.
if I still want to use that yet or do that or not because that adds on to another thing that I might need to do. But there, Grok, you can put a picture in there, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it will make a video out of it. But after it makes the video, you can ask it to change some things up and it will like say like for instance for some of my stuff like the books on the book covers I'll say have these individuals pop out the book and bow down or pray or do something and Grok would do it for a 6-second video and it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting how far AI has came as far as you know bringing I mean you know an artistic idea
So
to
we
the
got
table if you don't have one.
Yeah, so definitely stay in touch, and we'll have to talk a little bit more about writing a book because I really have this ADHD, and I feel like I'm sort of like still researching and living. So I have. If people go to tridactyls.com, which by the way, the website has been a point of contention with certain people, you can see that I have put together my cultural assertions and my biological assertions. And my biological assertions you can find on ResearchGate, and I even tried to submit it to Nature, knowing that they weren't going to accept it, but at least I got my denial letter. So we'll have to talk about that. We got some comments coming in. We've got paired. I'm not sure what this means. Paired beans calyx is the name. I don't know what does paired mean. Is that the website you're on? It says fire. And then we got Aaron here, the guru, saying, "Hey guys." And then it says people who don't engage down grow. And then he says, "Don't grow. I have my own business." Could you elaborate? I'm not sure what you're on about, Aaron. Watch Andrew video. He does a lot of AI. Watch Andrew video. Okay, Andrew who? Aaron, you're speaking in esoteric terms. Do we still have Jesus or did he take off?
No, I think he was trying to fix his audio because
Okay, let's bring him back. It's been so quiet without him.
Testing 1 2 3.
Oh, there he is. Oh, you sound sexy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing today?
Good mic, man.
It's your
So, boy, you got to catch up because we've already been talking
Jesus
so
Live.
much stuff.
Well, I had to restart my computer for some apparent reason.
Oh, isn't that the case, man?
Yeah, there's some powers maybe that are out there trying to take me down.
Of course, immediately go to the conspiracy like, first thing.
How about we have that disclosure going on, alien disclosure.
Do we really though?
In the United States?
Is it really?
Yeah. How many of you guys think it's gonna happen?
It ain't never gonna happen, bro.
Are you sure?
I say it like this: the day it's going to happen is the day when there's actually an aircraft that lands and people come out of there and it's on video.
What if it does? What if it does?
It won't happen, bro. It won't. There's too much money involved with it. Because what's the next step after that? If they real and the government already knows, right? If the government already knows that they're real, not just our government, but the governments across the world, if they already know they're real, and one comes down and says lands in your backyard, what is the next step after that? Has anybody even questioned that? What's the next thing to do after that?
What if we're shooting them down to take their technology? That's the biggest problem that we're facing right now. What if we have some bad apples out there that they're non-violent, and these corporations that are the men in black are actually evil? They're going around killing these aliens and they're stealing the technology for themselves, and they're non-violent. What then?
Well, let's think about that for a second. How, if that is happening, let's just say they're shooting them down. Wouldn't it be a time when they say, you know what, that's it, we're tired of them shooting them down, we're just going to wipe this whole planet out? By that time, it is not even going to be worth it
But they're non-violent. They're not going to do that. I mean, they're too far advanced to be going around. They're so far advanced that they clone themselves. That us killing them is trivial. It's too trivial. It's like they don't
I can see
have
that.
a violent bone in their bodies. Us killing them and taking their technology, they don't feel threatened by us in any way.
Yeah, I can
Like
see that.
we
You know,
feel
not
threat.
having.
Like if I go over to your house and hurt your family or do something to you, you're gonna be like, oh no, that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna pay it back. I have vengeance against you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come after you and your whole entire family. That's human. But for
yeah.
these people or beings, let's not say people, but these beings, I would say, and I'm assuming as an anthropologist, thinking if human beings evolved 10,000 years from now, our emotions, we won't be that way anymore. Like we won't have these emotions anymore. We will surpass that. And there's certain things that we're gonna eliminate along the way that it's not gonna be part of our human evolution. Like we're not gonna have these these sexual tendencies, like these very strong sexual tendencies that we have right now, hunting. Like we always have these hunter gathering tendencies. They just become less and less and less. Have you guys not noticed that we used to have these very strong sexual tendencies, and some men do? These days, there are men that go around saying, "Go back to your roots, like men who,
Yeah.
like you gotta walk on the ground with your bare feet." And then you see these men on YouTube walking around naked, half naked, with long hair out in the woods, and like, "Go back to your roots." I'm like, there's like 99% of the men don't do that. We have
You know,
evolved.
I can believe that too, and I say that because I believe that we will probably get to a point where violence won't even be in our
In
genetic code.
10,000 years, I'm saying, not
Yeah,
now, but
yeah,
we don't see that.
it's sometime in the
We're gonna
future.
be long gone. We're
Yeah,
gonna be long gone. We're
yeah,
not gonna see
I can
that.
see that, and the reason why I can see that is just because how we were when we first started off. You know what I'm saying? As humans, you know, all this, you know, violence and all this other stuff. But then you look at today and you see the same type of violence, and you're just wondering how far along have we came from that type of violence. And it's
That's
really
true.
scary just to think about it, you know what I mean? Because if we are getting better every 10, 15, 20, 30,000 years, how much of it is it getting to the point
Like the
where
Salem witch trials. Why are we going back to the Salem witch trials again? Like as a
yeah,
community, here we are killing again. We're gathering up groups.
Well, that and you
I'm not
bring up
against it. I'm not against the whole let's kill a pedophile thing. Like how they're
but
doing in Florida.
yeah,
You
but
know,
like that it is kind of happening though with all this talk about demons and whatnot. That feels very much like at the very least the 1980s satanic panic. So, that's
Satanic panic. I like that. We should title this video.
are you familiar with the satanic panic?
But
Either of you?
I mean, look at Jim Jones.
Well, it's a specific time in the 80s, and it tends to focus on Dungeons and Dragons, heavy metal music.
Yeah. But then
And
again, we got Jim Jones as well. He took
and
a
this
bunch of
was
people and then
no, but
killed
the
them.
satanic panic is a specific time period
Yeah.
dealing with pop culture where basically they're saying don't play Dungeons and Dragons because it's Satan worship. Don't listen to heavy metal, it's Satan worship. Don't watch horror movies. And that's what I hear today from people. That's why like it's easy for me even as an adult, maybe because I'm not married with children, that I recognize this same sort
Do
of.
you not think that it's probably coming from like specific killers in history that they advertise that have murdered a ton of people, and they take those and relate it to these killers? It has no relations to the killers, by the way, but they take it and then they go a step further and they go, well, Dungeons and Dragons is probably just as worse. We're just trying to avoid a mass killing like Jim Jones or Mason. What's his name? John Manson?
Charlie
Uh,
Manson.
Charlie Manson, another one that manipulated people, has nothing to do with Charlie Manson or Jim Jones, but they'll go a step ahead and say, but we're trying to avoid we're trying to predict the future, and Dungeons and Dragon is the next killer. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to attach it like it's an advertisement.
Well, I think it's a culture of fear mongering, and that's why even today they're suggesting that, you know, we can't engage with UFOs because of their demons. And to
That's
me,
another way. Yeah, tridactyls.
It's looking at everything. I always say we keep looking at everything through Judeo-Christian, Abrahamic faiths, you know, from a tiny area, a tiny desert region of planet Earth.
We're back to Jesus looking black or white, you know, like in the paintings. Like,
yeah, he's neither. He's neither.
Who painted Jesus? And how did they know Jesus looked like that if they didn't live at the time that Jesus was around?
What the Arabs are? I mean, the Arabs essentially are sort of a hybrid of black and white, aren't they?
Yeah, but the person that painted Jesus, they painted Jesus to the culture that they were around.
Yeah, it was. I think specifically it was a king. Maybe I don't know if Rebirth knows that it was a king who. They painted Jesus to look like the king, or the king commissioned a painting.
Look at that.
And that's still happening today, you know. And myself as a
how about pharaohs?
What about
pharaohs? You know, making sculptures of people that are looking like pharaohs. You know, they would make a sculpture and it'll look like the people that exist, like with like nice, perfectly slanted nose. And then all of a sudden they just uncovered a pharaoh that had African origin nose that was not slanted. Like the nose was perfectly, you know, it looked like African American nose, you know, or not African American, African nose.
The thing about Akhenaten is Akhenaten said he wanted to be depicted as he really was. And when you look at some of the images of Akhenaten, he's sometimes depicted in a quadrupedal form or in a strange sort of hermaphroditic form. And you know what someone said about Joyce, which kind of really freaked me out because it's the exact same thing I say. Someone said Joyce looks like, it was the interview. I was interviewed by a gentleman in Chicago. He said this tridactyl specimen of Joyce looks like Akhenaten. And I said,
hey, Aaron, welcome.
I say that all the time.
Hey, so the reason why we're bringing this up, people that are in the chat, we're bringing this up because we want to address that the way people see things, not everybody. We're not talking about the majority of people in the chat or the majority of the people in the crowd. We're talking about professionals that wanted to set a certain story so that they can control the population and control the narrative of the story so that the story can be a certain way. And I'm talking about certain people want to take something such as maybe a website, or they want to take an idea of something. And we don't know what that idea is, but they have a control factor and they want to do something in the future that nobody has no idea about. But we just go, yeah, go ahead. We have no idea what their plans are and why they want a pharaoh with a straight nose and why they want to do this. And then all of a sudden, later on down the road, all of a sudden their plans just come to light. And we're all fools accepting whatever they say. And then next thing you know, they just have this perfection of what they want. They just perfect this whole idea. And their plans are just boom, 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 boom. And we're just like dumbasses. We're just sitting there going, oh, now what we're going to do? We're part of this now.
Let's take a look at Joyce since we talked about him. So
look at that. Beautiful mummy.
I suggested that Joyce looks like Akhenaten. I was really surprised to hear someone else
so cool
say that.
Look at that head, that big head of it. Can you expand it? There you go.
Is there audio on this?
I don't hear it.
No audio. You know, I gotta say, you know, it's just amazing because I wondered that too. You know, how do people portray their gods, and it's just for the people that look like it. They want God to look like them. I mean, one of
Yes.
the when you read the Bible, it says, let's make them in the image of us." So automatically, if it says that in the Bible, it's just normal and obvious to think that God looks like us because He made us in the likeness of Himself. So we would think that in some ways. But then I always think about it: was that physically, or was that personality wise, or was that mentally wise, or what is the main reason? What's the likeness that you're speaking of? Because likeness doesn't have to necessarily mean a physical aspect of what
And you
you're
know
saying.
what? Asians feel like second-rate citizens in all this because it's always white and black fighting against each other on this. And but then Asians are off to the side going, "How about us? How about us?"
I don't think. Well, maybe they're happy not to be involved with that.
No,
with
they're
that.
off to the side because nobody mentions them. Nobody talks about them.
Yeah, but maybe they
they're
don't
made
care
in the
because they're
same
not.
image.
They're not. They're not. That sounds like ego talk, though.
No, they talk about it too. I talked to an Asian guy. I says, "Yeah, they don't talk about us. I mean, why are we not made in the same
You
image?"
know, that's something that you bring up that's interesting, because when you watch TV, I remember growing up, it was mostly Caucasians on television. Like I told you guys before, I grew
Correct.
up watching. My mother's white, my father's black. I never had any issues when I watched a superhero show. I never second guess why it was
They're
a
all
Caucasian.
white.
Like, yeah, they're all white. I never guessed it, right? And then when
And
when
there's
you learn
always the
about
one token black guy, though.
yeah, that too.
G.I.
But
Joe.
not only that, when you think about multiverses, right? When you think about multiverse where something can be something other or be switched, it's always about, okay, now it will include black people, even though our country is made up of all different races, all different cultures, all different uh, ethnicities. So you have so many different things, but now it seems like, and I was just thinking this the other day, that it's always been about white and black, and then you do have the Asians that are out there that don't have, that aren't really included in stuff. You have Hispanics that aren't really included in stuff. Like, how many Hispanics do you really see in a commercial if it's not just for Hispanics, right?
Got to go to the Spanish channel.
Yeah, yeah. You got to go to Telemundo. You know what I'm saying?
Telemundo.
But it's true that it's always been either a white and black thing, and the how our country is so diverse right now that we it seems like we don't include everybody in there. And then like I've had discussions where people said Joan of Arc was white, but if you look at the description of her, she's mentioned as dark. But then some people would say, well, because she worked in the field. But in today's term, when you classify somebody as dark, you usually mean somebody that's black. No matter how you look at it back in the past, that's what it is today. And that's always like when Jesus was talking about the nose and stuff like that. I have to say this: in Africa is the most diverse continent on this planet, meaning that you will find everything in Africa that you can see somebody that's Asian. Matter of fact, the oldest tribe, one of the oldest tribes in Africa, is called the Khoisan people, and they're or the San people, SAN people. These are light-skinned individuals that have Asian-like eyes.
Yeah,
And
the Bushmen are suggested they could represent perhaps what early man looked like, because they sort of kind of have features from all different types of people.
yeah, so when you look at the diversity of individuals in Africa, you'll find it in Africa. Like a lot of people, I've had discussions where Caucasians said, well, and it's mostly racist ones, where they'll say black people don't have blonde hair. But one of the oldest haplogroups in Africa, the people have blonde hair, and they're older than any of the Europeans
Mm.
haplogroups. So it makes me wonder, like, do people really care about facts, or do they
And
just care about
nobility started in
words?
Mesopotamia too.
Yeah, the one thing that gets me is the ego. People want to be first in everything. People want to say, same thing with the blue eyes. It's the same thing with the blue eyes. You can find people in Africa that have some of the oldest haplogroups out there, genetics out there, that have blue eyes. But then, and then what really gets me is that the words like European and Africa and stuff like that, we know that some of the earliest people in Africa came from, or first, some of the earliest people into Europe came from Africa in some ways, depending on what you want to describe as people, right? Because it's a very broad term for that. You can say people, you can say human, you can say all kinds of things. If you look at the word Cro-Magnon right now, the Cro-Magnon people, they actually changed that word to early Europeans. And they actually came from Africa, but they're known as early Europeans. So, but it's just, people, I don't get it, man. It's just, it starts arguments, it starts egos, it starts problems, and I'm just happy to be mixed because
they try to separate them. In reality, they mixed in with each other.
You can't hear you, Ed. Still can't hear you.
You sound better like that. It's best that we.
Still can't hear you. There we go.
We'll speak for him. He looks Chinese.
But
yes, you speak and I'll speak for you.
Still can't hear you. Now you probably got to restart your stuff.
Ed, I'm going to translate for Ed. Ed says everything is very fine, and I think it's all great.
Nothing.
Yeah, it sounds like your whole mic just died on you. I'm telling you, it's conspiracy theory time now. There's a conspiracy.
That's how they shut people down. You know, like I said, man, it's just, to me, it just means, you know, like you said, man, it's all about
ego. Kevin.
You know what I mean? It's always egos. It's always, you know.
Does anybody in the chat have a question? Go ahead and ask the question so that we could answer it. You got Rebirth. He's an expert within the area of Mesopotamia, the areas of India, and areas down there in the Middle East, and there on places like that. And I am mostly expert in the area of where anthropology is. I pretty much am an entertainer. So, you know, you guys have questions, I just help out in that area. And then Ed is the archaeologist. He's a bona fide archaeologist, 4-year degree in that area, and also an anthropologist. He's a real deal. He's not pretending or acting like one. He doesn't have a certificate. He has an actual degree.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like. You know, there are people out there that don't have a degree in this.
Yeah, they got a certificate.
Or a certificate. They don't have a degree in this at all, or they might have a certificate, but they're attacking people who have degrees. I couldn't attack somebody's degree or their intelligence. What I can do is ask them questions, and if they don't answer it, then that lets me know that they're trying to hide something. I've seen so many people, and you know what's so crazy? So many people want things to change, but they don't want to go to college, get that degree, and have it change. They just want somebody to say, "Hey, believe what I say," because
It's like attacking Neil Armstrong going to the moon. It's like telling him you didn't go to the moon. And I'm like, dude, I could not face Neil Armstrong and say you didn't go to the moon. That would be horrifying. The guy has a degree. That would, yeah, I couldn't do it.
He went through the training. How many people could last just through the training by itself? That's what I'm saying, is that I hate when people attack somebody's degree. What you need to do is you need to find somebody with that same degree, with the same credentials, that argues against that person's point. Yes. Especially if you don't have.
I couldn't fight against a veteran that went to war, suffered, has PTSD, went through a training. There's a Green Beret and all that. Yeah, I couldn't tell that veteran, no, you didn't do that. You didn't fight them. You didn't experience that. I couldn't dictate that to
testing. Hello,
I can hear you. Yeah, there you go,
bro.
Well, I just wanted to I wanted to talk about pop culture real quick. Is that you know, for me growing up, I mean, I thank God for pop culture. This is why I think art and entertainment, you know, some of you may know I'm also an actor sometimes. It's very important because, you know, when I grew up, I didn't associate with like Flash Gordon or Aquaman because they were like white with blonde hair and I didn't have blonde hair. So even something as simple as hair color to me was like, those people were different. But at the same time, I grew up with Black Panther, Luke Cage, Power Man, and the Falcon in my comic books, and I always liked them because they were different. So, I mean, art is important.
I have to tell you, how many of you guys in the chat enjoyed Starfleet Academy when Tilly came into the picture and she was teaching theater? And that's what you're just talking about right now. Is Professor Ed Casa is actually a professor in theater as well, and teaching future leaders how to act and how
if
to
anybody needs any help
communicate.
with dialogue, it's better if you have some dialogue, and then I can work with you that way instead of just teaching you like just general acting. We got a question here, though.
I actually, that's how I met Professor Ed Casa.
That's right.
It's through theater, and he taught me how to control my communication. I was all over the place,
Well,
and
I think I failed at that.
Oh,
Hey, we got a question here about the Harappan language translation. I think there are people that are working on that. I've definitely looked into it. See, I'm glad they brought up the Harappan language, because that is one of those instances where, like, most established academia, and I think this might be rooted in some sort of European ego, would suggest the Harappan or Indus Valley language wasn't a language, that it was merchant symbols or like names and things like that. Meanwhile, people are going into that, and I've dipped my toe into it a little bit, only because I noticed that fish symbol, and also the ka symbol of hands I looked into. So that's Mr. Rebirth, do you got anything on the Harappan language? Do you know anything about Indus Valley script?
It's so strange, because just from what I understand about the Indus Valley script is that there's not any full translations with it. They have a very small portion of it that's translated, and they use different sources for that. They use pictographic script, they use petroglyphs, they use drawings, they actually use writing of some sort, and it's very confusing, because I like to say the oldest writing system out there, honestly, is the pictographic script, but the most universal language out there for everybody is mathematics, right? So it's kind of hard to determine what people consider a writing and the language and so on and so forth. I did an article, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, on language, and I think I talked about this to you guys on one of the last shows, that language goes back almost 1.2 something million years ago, and it started with the creation of a certain type of a tool, because they were able to translate how to create that tool to an individual. But in reality, there's different ways of learning things. Some people learn hands-on, some people can be told how to do something, and some people will have to actually see it, right? And then some people have all those mixed up together. Like me personally, I'm that type of person where I have to have hands-on and I have to see it for myself. So I have to see somebody do it, and at the same time, simultaneously, I have to be doing the same thing they're doing. So that way I can have that built, basically that muscle memory. Jesus knows what I'm talking about when it comes to muscle memory, because when it comes into being in the military, you're doing the same thing over and over again with repetition, and it kicks in that you don't even have to think about it when it's the time to do it in real time. Same thing with driving. How many times has anybody drove a car and was like, yo, did I just run a red light, or I didn't even see if that light was red or green or not, I just drove. But your mind, your muscle memory kicks in and lets you do these things without having to actually so-called pay attention to what you're doing. I mean, in the sense of I don't even know how to put it in words, basically, but things just happen, like typing on a keyboard. Muscle memory. You can use your two hands and your fingers on the keyboard. The professional way how to type fast. You don't have to look at the keyboard. The muscle memory kicks in. And same thing playing a guitar. I play guitar. I'm teaching myself how to play the guitar, and muscle memory. You look at somebody playing a guitar, it might look simple, right? Because you're like, oh, fingers and moving your hands and this and that, that can't be that hard. But go ahead and try to play the guitar and don't look at the strings. I still have to look at the strings, and I know a lot of people still look and glance at it, but I have to stare at it to know where I'm at.
I see professional guitarists still look. That's true. Yeah.
So it's just
the hairpin language. They're saying that There are some experts that don't feel like it's a language.
Yeah,
There's
that's
some, and they're
that doesn't
saying
seem right
they're
at all.
debating on it. And just like there are some experts that don't claim tridactyls are real either. So
Right.
don't take
Exactly.
this for fact, but some researchers says that the language is not a language, but a road sign or heretic shields used for identifying traders or contents of package without representing spoken words. So when I read that, I'm thinking maybe how we depict language and how we read language. So when we read a book, we read things like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How about we attack this in a different way? Maybe the way they think of language is not by A, B, C, D, E. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 2 3 4 5, maybe they see numbers like 1 10 20 30 10 20. Maybe they go backwards, maybe they go forward, maybe they jump in between. When they see things differently than we do when they speak, or when they look at these signs. they their minds were set up in a way. You know how in Israel, Jews, they read differently. When they read a book, they don't read like us in America, where we read from left to right. They read from the back to the front. It's
Yeah,
different.
and that's why I was saying that it all depends on what you consider a language, right? Because you
And we
know,
had this discussion, remember?
yeah,
Hey,
you know,
can I
look at
interrupt
the
you?
emojis.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, go
We'll
ahead.
go ahead. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going with this. Go.
I was going to say, look at emojis.
We do have a comment coming up after this, though. Yeah.
You see an emoji with a sad face that represents the word sad,
Yeah.
Right.
but it could also be symbolic for meaning something else, right? It just depends. As long as two people understand what is being shared between them and how they can communicate, I believe that's a language, because
Well,
people
the
are able.
happy face, the happy
So,
laughing
so
face has
how do we
become
know how aliens communicate? If they don't
okay.
communicate like us, then we're lost in translation. Then, right? They
Well, they
don't.
say that
They're
it's
not going to talk like us.
You
what
don't
is
know that.
what's that word
Speculate.
when it's mind to mind? What's that word that's called again? Uh,
Telepathy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's how they speak, is through that.
It
But
might
see,
Check
not
out
bring.
in
all
order
right.
It
for
This
that
might
is a
to
not.
good
happen,
segment here for a
but
comment. You
see,
guys are getting speculative here. Let's read this
no,
comment
no,
from
What do you mean
somebody.
speculative? I'm bringing up a good point
no,
here.
no. I'll
Why
explain that.
why are we gods
No,
of the universe?
you're suggesting that why would the aliens not talk? What you're suggesting that they won't talk like us, and I suggest, well, why maybe they would. So, and now what's
I
Rebirth
guess
saying?
we're a
Rebirth's
speck of
talking
dirt.
about
We're the
telepathy.
gods.
Let's look at this comment from Kevin Souter. My wife has seen and experienced 2 UFOs over our town, Bode, Iowa, a few years ago. They were in the shape of long rods. Ooh, that's creepy. With no sound. And after they left the area, an F 24 Raptor and an F 16, along with 2 Blackhawks, flew by quickly. We stood on the side of the road watching it all happen. Okay, that's all I wanted to get to. Back to your language.
Nice. I love that.
Language discussion.
That's what I've been looking for. I wish I could see that so I could videotape that. Oh my gosh.
I'll explain the telepathy based on what I believe. Like,
Telepathy.
yeah, telepathy. Yeah, there we go. That's my speech problem right there.
Telekinesis.
But let me explain it to you like this. When you read something online, right, and somebody's having a discussion, 9 times out of 10, people are reading it from their perspective of how they would react. Like, so if you say, "Hey, you're wrong," this is the answer. Most times they're going to hear that you're trying to be rude and disrespectful to them, right? But you could say you're wrong in the most nicest way when you see somebody's mannerisms when you're in front, and when you see how their voices are being portrayed through the vocals from their lips to the person's ears. A lot of people don't understand that for us as humans, we lost the ability to understand each other in a way that keeps us from having arguments. And what I mean by that is you don't get the visual aspect when you're typing online. You don't get the vocal sounds. And you definitely don't get the mannerisms, because some people
Yeah, you
talk
don't
with
get the
names, right?
subtleties.
Yeah, you don't get all that. So a lot of people, when they read something, they're reading it on how their personality is. Meaning that if they're a jackass, they're thinking you're being a jackass because you said, "Hey, you're wrong." You're not saying you're wrong because you're trying to be mean. You're just saying,
Yeah,
hey,
half the times Ed thinks I'm a jackass every time I text him.
But it's
Well,
seriously, think
the
about it.
problem is speculation. That's part of the problem I'm with Dr. Pilati. He is speculating that the Tridactyls are time travelers who are humans that have evolved, and it's absurd. That's why I began
I
to
think you
question
should give
him
them the
as-
benefit of doubt. Maybe they are.
But maybe anything then. That's not how it works. That's not how anthropology works. Don't you speak of going by
how do
evidence?
you know they aren't? I mean, what
No,
if
because
they are human?
we have to go with Occam's razor, and Occam's razor says their physicality is clearly traits that you can find on Earth species.
What if we evolved like 1,000
did.
years from now into that?
But that's what if, and that's hypothetical. It's like your time travel. We can't prove it. Here's a follow-up comment from the Harapin.
But now it goes the other way around. What if we are tridactyls that we evolved from that? From the past?
That's what I believe.
You see?
That's what I believe.
It could go either way.
No, there's a huge difference. What
is that huge difference? Oh,
the
because
huge
time
difference-
travel doesn't exist?
Well, that and that there's evidence of evolution. So we have a comment from the Harapin gentleman again. They must have had a language, considering the advanced setup of the cities, bricks, sewers, etc. No temples, so more advanced than us. Hee hee.
But but see, that's where mathematics comes into play. That's why I said the oldest and best universal language out there is mathematics. In order to build something, all you need to do is just draw it and have mathematical equations for it. How long is it going to be? 2 to 3 feet. How high is it going to be? 10 to 20 feet high. You don't have to say this has to be 10 feet high. All you got to do is just write the number 0 feet and draw an arrow up, meaning that this is the going up part. And then the foundation part can be, how big you want the slab to be. It's all math. That's why I say all mathematics. Mathematics you can have two people who speak two different languages. Neither one of them understand their separate languages. You type a mathematical equation in, and I guarantee you they can make it happen. And it's no difference than the binary. What's the binary code? The ones and zeros. I think I said it right. The ones and zeros for the computers. You know how it does the programs and all that other stuff. It speaks in ones and zeros. It doesn't speak in the language that we speak, because you could take that ones and zeros here from this computer engineer and bring it to this computer engineer, and they would be able to understand each other like they just sat in the same room speaking English and Spanish or whatever language that you want to pick and choose from.
Lots of good comments today.
I think Ed, we're gonna have to kidnap you, take you to a time machine, throw you in, and then you go backwards in time.
Oh my God!
But I want to hit on that time travel though. Let's think about this. And is it physical? Is it physical or is it mental? Right? Could it be that you're time traveling mentally? Because then there's this what they call the Akashic records, where there's supposed to be all this information from the past to the future in there. Everything is in there. And some people can tap into these Akashic records and be able to, what's happening in the future. Prophets, for instance, some of these prophets, they would meditate, and they would meditate to the point where they can tell what's going to happen in the future. We really got to look at Nostradamus, for instance, right? He was able to tell the future, but the language that they used was in the most primitive way. I think our language is very primitive. We have to say almost every word to understand something. Even if we throw slang in there, a lot of people won't understand that slang, right? And this is from all across different languages.
Did you guys watch the Nostradamus documentary when you were a kid? I think it was on HBO. It's almost like he predicted 9/11.
Oh my God! I can't believe you guys believe that BS. Oh God.
Yeah, I actually have a book from him. I actually have a couple of
acting.
And it's so vague. It's so vague what he says that it can mean for anything. It literally.
Yeah, it could mean anything. That was set up for the masses. That is just propaganda. But pure propaganda.
Let's look at this though for a second. Let's look at time travel, for instance. Everybody talks about time travel because they think that you can do it physically. Can it be done physically? We don't know. But what we do know is that there are people out there. There are definitely people out there, and it has been proven numerous times that people are able to tell what's going to happen in the future. I say soothsayers.
That's one. Soothsayers.
Yeah,
from the
there are
past.
people who can tell you what's going to happen in the future. Is that part? Is that considered time traveling? You know, can I go in the past and see what happened in the past
Yeah, I mean
mentally?
that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I
See, I
mean,
got y'all on the happy medium. I got y'all both on the happy medium.
in religious text, there was an intermediary that will travel from the heavens, come down and communicate to the person and tell them exactly what would happen into the future, and then they would take off. Most likely a UFO. So Ezekiel.
Well, see,
So
you mentioned Ezekiel. Ezekiel's seeing all his shit through a meditative type state. Remember, I talked about this before when they use specifically the word
well,
vision. You look up
I
the
mean,
etymological
he
word
said
of
meditative. I mean, he doesn't know. That's the best he can correlate what happened to him because he doesn't have science and all this stuff. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't have technology. He doesn't have an iPad. He doesn't have cars and ships and flying airplanes and helicopters like we do today. He has no idea how to compare what he just experienced.
And let's look at the tridactyls. Let's try to include the tridactyls into this. What are did they come from somewhere that's a time travel of some sort? If they're as advanced as some people believe, right? Because some people believe they were very advanced in technology and understanding of certain things. Is it possible that they are able to, you know, use their mind as a way to translate what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future? We don't know that. We don't know how. They say we use only 10% of our brain. Imagine using 100% of your brain and what you will be able to accomplish. You know what I mean? And then not even that. Let's look at what most people know as savant syndrome. Okay, savant syndrome is basically a group of individuals who are so intelligent that Stephen Hawkins was one of them. They're so intelligent that they have ailments where they can't walk or they can't simply tie their shoes, but they can tell you a mathematical equation so easy. But there's also savants out there that are so intelligent that they can walk and talk and you wouldn't even tell that they had some type of ailment. So our brain is very powerful. We just, not everybody is able to use that brain to to the best of their ability. And that's a good example of, look at the NBA of today. There weren't that many people that was shooting from the half court line, 3-point shooters with their abilities. Now people can, you know, use their mind and mathematical equations in their head, look at the goal and be like, this is exactly how you're going to shoot this ball. And it's almost robotic how easy it is for them to do it. The same thing with football. You know, Tom Brady, you look how accurate he can throw a football, but that's because we don't get to see what he sees in his eyes and understand what's going through his brain processing skills to achieve that. And this is no different than building, you know, monuments around the world, or even going in as far as there are people who can fly. There's this one guy that took a 15-minute flight. I believe it was over Tokyo or New York. I can't remember which one. Took a 15-minute flight over it, came back and drew exactly what he's seen within those 15 minutes of the whole entire city, and it was more accurate than Google Earth. So our
So
brains.
I guess looking into the future, predicting the future is still different than leaving the future and coming into the physical past, though. That's still another huge leap you would have to make.
Well, let me explain to you guys, yeah, and what you were saying, Ed. Let me give you a scientific reason through a technical experience and through computer building, because I repair and build computers, and all my computers I've built them myself. And the reason why computers bottleneck all the time, especially motherboards, from speed, is because certain peripherals and certain things that you add to a computer have limits, and our brains have limits. And there are certain things in our brains that will keep us from getting to a certain point, and that's probably biologically set up that way. I guess overheating or whatever. So just to explain, in a computer, we have memory, we have hard drives, we have a CPU, we have the North Bridge, the South Bridge. All these things are always upgrading throughout time. All right. So I upgraded everything, and I had the fastest computer I could ever build on my own at the cheapest rate I could ever pay for. But my computer would never go fast enough. I would have 50,000 RPMs, but it would never go as fast as possible. And we just lost Rebirth.
We did?
I think so. So the thing is,
I think he's just off camera.
Oh, so the problem is we could go as fast as we can with the fastest CPU and the fastest memory, but if the hard drive is running slow, if a piece of our brain has the slowest memory, you could have the fastest brain and the fastest hands in the West, but yet if there's a part of your body is not that can keep up, then that's where the problem is. And if you can't upgrade that part, and this is where AI comes in. This is where all these other technologies come in. We are upgrading ourselves with technology. And this is the other thing with the computer. When we upgraded from a platter drive with the hard drive with the metal disk to SSD, the cards, we went astronomically fast on a computer. Now we don't have lag anymore on video games and videos and footage and everything. It's just so fast on a stick. The stick is what makes everything fast now. It used to be that it took forever to load up Windows. Now you put it on a stick and it just pops up just like that. Windows now pops up. I'm from back in the day when we had dial-up. You know,
so you've just given us a lesson that computers advance. What is your plan?
Yeah, so our brains is what keeps us our advancement in technology and adding like ChatGPT, all this stuff is what's helping us to advance. It's the addition, and especially with the brain chip technology that's coming out, it's proving that we need advancement in technology to help us to increase our brain activity. Some of us are afraid of that stuff. We won't live to see this technology. Our children will live to see this. The advancement, like from Back to the Future. Remember seeing Biff with the android arms and all that stuff? Yeah, the future is going to be like Steven Spielberg already saw the future for that stuff.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to Elon Musk and his Neuralink, I think that's what's going to be what we call the SSD, right? The what's going to make the
tiny little thing in your brain.
Yeah, it's going to make us think faster. I mean, just think about it. It's going to get to the point where we're going to, and like you said, we're not going to see it in our time frame, of course, or our children's children or grandchildren or whatever. Maybe. It's going to be to the point where you can say, hey, tell me everything you know about the tridactyls in your mind, and all that information is going to be downloaded.
ChatGPT 10.0.
Yeah, it's going to be all in your mind. You won't even have to worry about it. You can get all the facts that you need from there. You get all the sources, all the peer-reviewed articles. You don't even have to memorize it at that point. You'll just have to, it'll be, translated into your mind, and you'll just.
It will predict before you even ask the question. That's how fast it would be. The person won't even have to ask the question. You would already be a binary. You ever see that Star Trek episode with binaries with two people? You remember the aliens with the binary ones and zeros? Remember that episode?
Yeah, they're like little aliens. Yeah,
they were aliens. They look like two gray aliens. They were the binaries, the ones and zeros. Yeah, we're gonna be like that in the future. We're going to be binaries, we're going to be communicating, and with those chips that we're going to be able to communicate with each other before we could ever answer the questions. It will be like this: snap, 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 and then we're done. I mean, a whole 24 hours will be in mere seconds. It's going to be insanely fast. That's how the technology is going to be in the future. We will be able to complete things so fast that it's just going to be insane. The problem is going to be overheating. I'm telling you right now, we have problems with overheating already with computers. Overheating is going to be in our brain. That's pretty much what's going to be the problem. I know it. So overheating with batteries, overheating with computers, overheating will be a problem with our brains.
Yeah, did you, by the way, Fat Jesus, did you watch the Orson Welles, The Man Who Saw Tomorrow documentary from 1981?
I've seen a lot of the Orson Welles stuff. I love his books.
This is what's interesting about it. We can say that, Nostradamus didn't predict 9/11. That's fine, but that means that Orson Welles did than Orson Welles, because it's very close. Some of the things he says, something about like the new city will burn.
Oh yeah.
And
What if somebody is actually wanting to all this to happen? What if there's some
check this
insane
out? This
person?
says here now. How close is this date too? This is from Nostradamus in the year 1999 and 7 months. Okay, not quite 2001, but still pretty close,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It says, "From the sky will come the great king of terror. He will bring back to life the king of the Mongols," which could be Tamerlane, by the way. Before and after war reigns. So,
But what calendar are you using? You're using our calendar of what we're using today.
I'm just
I
going
mean,
by Orson
are you
Welles'
using the
documentary.
lunar calendar?
That's what I'm saying. We have to understand what calendar they was using, because the calendar has been changed numerous times. Our time and dates
Regardless, the
has changed
coincidence is there. If you want to call it a coincidence,
You have the
still there.
Mesopotamian expert right here. He can use the Mesopotamian calendar there.
You can use. There's so many
By
different.
fire,
calendars.
he will destroy their city. I don't know. It's good stuff.
And you know, oh man, the stars are so much.
My point
different
is,
back
it's
then.
not a post 9/11. What people try to do is rewrite things after something happens. After 9/11 happens, how many Nostradamus predictions came out? Right. That's problematic. But this is a 1981 documentary. If people haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, I always, when I think about somebody saying something's going to happen to a date, I want to know what calendar was they using. Because look at the Ethiopian calendar. The Ethiopian calendar is nowhere near what we.
I love the Ethiopian.
The Jewish
Ethiopian's
calendar
clock.
is not even the Ethiopian.
Do you know how their daily clock goes? Sunrise starts. Sunrise is basically like 12 a.m.
Welcome, Scott.
So the first hour after sunrise is hour 1. It's so brilliant. And then by the time you get to noon, it's 6 o'clock, right? And then at 6 o'clock at dinner time, which is the same as everyone else, it's 6 o'clock at night. It's 6 o'clock p.m. It's so perfect. I wish we could use it.
I just wanted to bring up something. I truly believe that space and time does not exist. So just to answer that question from the chat.
Hey, we got a hello from New Mexico.
Yeah, I love New Mexico. It's beautiful from out there.
All right.
We were in Arizona, actually. That's another
Search
beautiful
space
place.
and time does not exist. You'll find that it's being considered by mainstream physics that it doesn't. At a quantum scale, it all changes, and at near light speed, time slows.
Yeah, they're testing that with the wormholes.
But again, my simple brain doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense of this, because is this not space I'm in now? Isn't time what we were just talking about?
The reason why it doesn't exist, okay, it exists because you're on Earth, and Earth is going around the sun, and because you're on Earth, time does exist. But once you leave the solar system, time slows down considerably. So considerably that it doesn't exist anymore. You are moving at a very, very slow pace. Like so slow that it is like non-existent.
By the way, were you guys able to share this stream to your followers? I know Rebirth talked about that last time.
Yeah, I am. I'm sharing it now. I wanted to touch up on that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, touch up on it.
I wanted to touch on that because you say when you move away from the sun, it brings me back to that movie Interstellar. You remember when he left?
Yeah, that was a good movie, by the way.
This is what I don't
understand. The same physics this guy is talking about.
Yeah, so this is what I don't understand about that theory. Biologically, our bodies slowly deteriorates every single day, no matter what, whether we're near the sun or if we're away from the sun.
Well, the people on Earth deteriorate faster, but you will continue to deteriorate when you leave Earth. But if you come back, everybody will be dead.
Yeah, and that's what doesn't make sense to me, because whether I'm on Earth or not, my body has a timestamp on it regardless, right? Now, what I did learn through a lot of research, because I read a lot of Albert Einstein's books, a lot of physicists' books, a lot of.
I'm glad someone did.
One thing that I did learn is that it may be the gravity that's affecting our lifespan. That it's not necessarily, the sun has anything to do with it.
The sun creates the gravity. You're correct.
Yeah, so it's more like the gravity, and that's why there's a lot of arguments about gravity. One thing that I like to say is, I don't have to argue what gravity is, and the reason why is because if I pick up my phone and I let it go, it's going to drop. I don't have to
Yep.
argue that. I already
Yeah,
know
that's what I'm
that.
saying.
Towards the center of the earth.
Hypotheticals are beyond me sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Remember,
that's why I said it doesn't.
we're standing up, and the Earth goes towards the center. In reality, we are in an angle. We're standing in an angle on the Earth. So if the Earth is round, we're actually not standing straight up and down like we're standing on a piece of paper, as some people believe we're on flat Earth. We're actually at an angle on a big, huge, round Earth. So once you leave the Earth and the gravity subsides, you're actually without gravity. But nobody has really done that except for some of the few that have gone towards the moon. And they actually have a longer lifespan once they head out to the earth, towards the moon. And if they live on let's say if you go and live on Mars, you will have a longer lifespan, and also there's less gravity on Mars than there is on Earth. So you'll have a longer lifespan on Mars than you do have on the Earth. You'll live to be
Hey,
140.
how about this? You guys hear that Ross Coulthard claims visit to hidden
Be
U.S. portal site? What do you think of that? On his March 1st News Nation show, Coulthard described a recent trip to a heavily secured site in the continental U.S. surrounded by fences and security
Thank you, Aaron.
signs, which he says hides a portal known to the government.
Sounds like Stargate to me. I'm telling you, I've been watching Stargate.
I'm not a fan
I've
of portals either. Not a fan.
I've been watching it
So-
a lot, and I
Yeah,
can tell you, it's just crazy.
Do you know what's a
There
portal?
is
Your front door
there
is
is
a
a
portal.
theory. There is a going theory that there is a portal, but not to another planet in our own universe. It's like to a parallel universe. So there's an Earth and there's another Earth, and they basically have a portal that just lands on another Earth. That's pretty much what the portal is about.
A
So,
door is a portal.
yeah, it's a door. Is a
A
doorway.
doorway
to
to a room is a portal.
Yeah. So basically, it's not in our existence. It goes to another existence, and basically it lands somewhere else.
I really,
I don't know if we built it or not.
I really recommend you guys to go back and watch SG1. Watch, it's 10 seasons. If you go and watch it,
I've seen it all.
you're going to see things about tridactyls in there a lot. You're gonna
Okay.
see
Yeah,
things
they have
about time travel.
the Asgardians, right?
Thor.
I'm telling you, they talk about they even in so many ways talked
That's
about
Stargate
COVID
Atlantis.
in it. They literally in so many ways talked about COVID in there and how it would be used to manipulate. I'm telling you, it's so
Before
strange.
COVID, they have stuff about COVID.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's really strange because I study a lot about mythology and religion. You guys know that. And I'm also attracted to aliens and all these other things that's going on. And I'm telling you, everything that I've watched from that show, just based off of my knowledge that I have now, it seems like the soft disclosure has been happening since day one. The problem is that people don't go and do their due diligence and look this stuff up. And they don't really understand what they're reading. Like when I was a little kid, when I was younger, when watching this show and watching the movie, I didn't know because I wasn't as in deep into the stuff that I am now. Now that I'm so deep into it, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like it's almost like me taking my what I have the knowledge in my mind and creating a television show, and it would probably turn out something close to it. Yeah, the aesthetics looks crazy, the CGI looks crazy, but that's only because of our technology.
Well, let me ask you guys this: since you're talking about that show particularly, maybe this is your answer, but let me ask Mr. Jesus too. I feel like Star Wars and Star Trek are like the two like pinnacles of pop culture sci-fi entertainment. If you were to make a trinity of shows, what show or whatever film franchise would join those two as the ultimate trinity?
I think
Star Galactica.
I watched
Star Galactica.
Yeah. I watched Star Wars. I'm not a big fan of it, like watching it a lot. And I watched Star Trek, but I wasn't a big fan of it like that either. Only because
I would think the Orville.
But there's so many different shows that could probably go towards that. Even
I see
just thinking
Stargate
about
comes up a lot, and also I'm just trying to get into Firefly Serenity. That sounds like
Firefly is really good, guys. If any of you guys in the chat have never seen Firefly, go watch Firefly. It is so much fun to watch. It is in its own class. It is very good space TV show. If you have not watched it, there's not enough space cowboy TV shows out there right now. If you need your consumption of sci-fi,
yeah.
go
I
see
feel like I
Firefly.
need a new. I think I need a new. You know, after Star Trek winds down a bit, I need a new. I need a
Oh
new
my
thing.
God. That's
So should I
gonna
watch
kill me, guys.
Stargate?
Oh,
Should I watch Stargate or
I love Star
Firefly?
Trek. I love Star Trek so much. I really love this Star Trek, guys. I mean, I cannot have enough fill of Star
Hey, here's
Trek.
something fun for everybody. I'm just kind of trolling through my own content here. And here's some possible steganography of perhaps hidden imagery. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see what you. Let's see if you
Oh,
see.
hold on for a second. I just want to tell chat. Thanks to Ed Casas, he grounds us. He is the realist. He is the archaeologist. We are
I
more
thought
like
that's Rebirth. I thought Rebirth was supposed
no.
to be.
We're more like the hypothesis people here because we're kind of like me and Rebirth. We're back and forth, and we come up with some ideas of mythology. We're more the mythology crew here, and we talk about what could be, what can be, and we kind of like try to support other.
I mean, I like
people's
mythology too, but I guess I tend to look at a lot of mythology now through a biological standpoint.
So it's great that Professor Ed Casa grounds us, and that's the great thing about having this trio is because we need someone to ground us, and he's the realist, and that's.
I
the
thought
fantastic
Rebirth
thing
was
about this
grounding
podcast.
me because he demands more evidence. I think I've kind of make my own.
That's what
inferences.
works. That's what works around in this round table here.
So what do you guys
All right,
think?
go ahead.
Can you guys do you guys see any hidden imagery in here? Is there possibly some alien faces?
You're gonna have to zoom in because I see clouds.
Whoa.
That's further away. Do I need a magnifying glass?
Isn't it funny when you hit like, whoa, hey, when you hit like zoom in, sometimes it gets smaller. Let's try it over here.
You can see the pine cones. I mean, if I'm looking at it and clearly as I can see the pine cones. I see the multiple heads.
Okay.
All that could mean something different depending on where.
Yeah, I see pine cones. Yeah. So I've noticed that Christopher Columbus came in and gave a pineapple to the and they say that Christopher Columbus
the
gave
ball to bounce the ball off of the wall.
a pineapple to the indigenous Americans or the indigenous people, the Tainos, is that
Taino.
Tainos?
Yeah,
That
he
was
was just studying the Tainos, Rebirth. He was looking at
Is that
Yaya.
correct? Am I just saying mythology here, or is
what was
that
it?
fake?
I'm sorry, say it again. What did you say?
He had a pineapple, and he gave a pineapple to the indigenous people. Is that true?
Oh,
Or is
about
that
Christopher
fake?
Columbus? I'm not sure about that story. No, I don't know.
You know?
I have to look into that. I know he gave some things to them, of course,
No,
but
the
I'm
first
not sure.
time he came to land, did he? I mean, I'm gonna look it up because that the pineapple looks like an acorn, right? Like it has the similarities of
Or
an
it looks
acorn
like the head of a goddess.
because it has all the size. Have you ever seen the intricacies of it? The shape.
Hell yeah, I like pineapple. Shit.
The pineapples have the shape and the
got 'em growing in my
geometry.
yard.
It's the geometry of the pineapple. It looks similar to that acorn shape. Am I right or wrong?
You mean acorn or pine cone?
Pine cone. The pine cone has almost the same geometry. The geometry is what we need to focus on.
Those are similar. What could that mean? Is the pineapple a head? You know, in Oceania, the coconut is a head of a god. And that God gave his head to the people so they could grow coconuts.
I'm going to ask. All right. Pineapple and pine cones share a geometric structure based on the Fibonacci spiral and efficient phyllotaxis.
That's
Scale
that's a hard
arrangement.
book too. The Fibonacci book
Yep.
that I have. Oh my god, man, I hate math, bro.
So
That
both
shit.
exhibit overlapping clockwise and counterclockwise spirals that correspond to consecutive Fibonacci numbers, 5, 8, 13. This pattern optimizes packing, allowing for maximum growth in compact cylindrical shapes. So there it goes, guys. That is something incredible. The pineapple, the symbol. I actually have a pineapple symbol in the front of my house. So
That means you want to get laid.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
It means
It's
come
not
on in.
happening. It's
Isn't
not.
that
There's
what-
nobody.
Isn't that what they do on the cruises? The cruises, you put
I
like
guess
a
that's why
pineapple-
some women knock on my door and I'm not
randomly
really
they're like, we
responding
saw the
yet.
pineapple.
Yeah, they randomly knock on my door. They look at me and they run. I look at them. Who are you? I show up at the door. Hello.
But I do like the coconut myth, and actually the
I look like a
coconut myth,
werewolf when I walk up to the door.
the coconut myth comes specifically from an eel god. So to Oceania, their sort of naga are eel beings. Upside down pineapple. I see. So what else? But yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard.
I mean, it's not a
mythology. I'm getting big
yeah.
already.
It's not some conspiracy theory, guys. This is something interesting, that the mathematical numbers, and why did the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians use the pine cone as on top of their heads in their descriptions on walls and stuff like that? Am I correct on this?
It's supposed to be like it's always like a lot of the stuff that I know references for the third eye. You know, the third eye, basically. You know, this hidden knowledge or abilities that you have. You know, and the third eye has so many different aspects to it. So
it could be an egg, and it could be a I forget the term they use in Catholic Church. It could be they're using it in some of the stone carvings as a way to spread water from the bucket. They take the pine cone, they dip it in salt water, and then they sprinkle the salt water, representing some sort of fertility, perhaps.
Okay, so Christopher Columbus discovered them on the island of Guadalupe and then brought it back to Spain.
Okay.
So that's what happened. It wasn't the other way around.
And so here we go. And then there's a Filipino myth that a girl was transformed into a pineapple, explaining the fruit's many eyes. Ananas. So now we've got some interesting phonemes in ananas. We have a an, which is a god in Sumerian. We have the na, which could be a sea or water representation. So who knows? I do try to I call it folkloric etymology, where I'm trying to piece together a sort of proto language by noting similar sounds. You know, the best two so far have been the ung sound, that I call it the naga morpheme, which seems to be related to fertility and serpents and mother goddesses, and then that ka phoneme. If you notice that ka, if you take the ka, which is a proposed deity from the Nilamata Purana, which is about the Naga, and you take the ung of the Naga and you put those together, you can come up with a variety of words, and perhaps even words like Inca. So we are getting to, we're over an hour and a half here, gentlemen. If you want to start to wrap this up, and I can do our head giveaway here. Josephina head giveaway. Let's see. We can put that up on the board here. What about, you guys ever get a ringing in your ear? Anyone out there get a ringing in your ear? Does that mean something? Is that mean something to you? Someone talking about you? I think we used to say.
Ringing ears, man. That's so many theories about that, man.
So-
I've read it.
I wanted to update that back then they didn't know anything about the Fibonacci sequence. When Christopher Columbus presented the pineapple, they did not have the formula back then, so
Okay.
it wasn't special to them in that way.
Not in
So I
that
wanted
way.
to update that information to you guys. It wasn't until later on the pineapple meant something to the Europeans or the universities.
Okay, so I got a bunch of dice. Right now they say 62, 41, 16, 73. What is that? That 11? Or that's 11. 11 and that's 12, it looks like.
Stop it.
So here we go. We're going to roll and see who.
Stop it, boy. My dog is over there barking. My bad. I'm sorry.
Let's roll. I didn't even barely hear him. 69, 69. Do we have a 60? I think someone's already won this. No. 69 is Dark Matter. Wow, congratulations, Dark Matter. If you didn't win this week,
Welcome.
guys,
Thank you. Dark Matter, congratulations.
stay tuned next week.
Did he get a foot? He got a foot? A three finger?
No, not yet. You know, we might make the hands next. He got a Josephina.
Did he get a lucky foot?
He got a Josephina head. Now, keep in mind, these heads, I make them out of resin, so they're not.
When are you going to get the different parts so that we can connect the head to the bodies, you know?
I know. That'd be a great way to collect them all, right? Like the Transformers or something. You put together the
have a full scale a full scale body that you could just, and then all of a sudden they would get a stand that they can connect them all together.
Well, you know, I was going to contact the original Mexican artist who made the replica of Maria, but I have an artist in town who can literally make anything. Make sure you make a stand for it, you know, that way people can like. So I'm going to ask him to make a 2-foot version, a 60-centimeter version of Josephina.
Yeah.
So at the very least, when I go to like a school or to a museum, we can do a presentation and have a life size. And I don't even care what the cost is, because if it's several grand, we're going to raise the money for it. That's all.
Bro, I think there should be a member. I honestly think you should have donations coming in, because honestly, these trips are expensive as heck. I mean,
well, we need at this moment, we're considered part of my Act Broward 501, but I haven't pursued people for donations, because look at tridactyls.org. Gonzalo Chavez is doing a lot of hard work. As far as I know, he's not getting paid for that. Yeah. So, you know, until those guys, and really, you know, Ika University, I think we should be doing some fundraisers for them down the road.
We're about to do trips over here on the East Coast, so we could do some lives out here in the mountains.
Could be a good time to raise money. Yeah.
I mean, these trips, they cost money, man. I have to travel 600 miles to Rebirth's house. You got to do 600 miles to Rebirth's house. And we're all going to be taking off from Rebirth's house out 600 miles to the mountains. And we're going to be traveling. And we have all our gear. I have about $1,000 worth of gear that I got to be dragging along with me, you know. And then you have a bunch of gear.
We got a thanks from Ontario. That was our letter A here. Is Snyder. He's great. Thanks for the Harappan Indus Valley questions, guys. If you don't know that language, check it out. It's a very entertaining pictographic language, Indus Valley script. And there's some great TED Talks on the Indus Valley script showing this gentleman going through. Look at that, -25. Oh my gosh, man! I'm all the way here and just north of Miami, and this Rebirths in Georgia. What's the temperature in Georgia right now? 70s?
Man, I think it was like 70 today. I'm not even. Let me check.
Today we were in 45 in Virginia.
It's pretty warm here, man. Like I'm not even kidding. It's to the point where it feels like it's okay. So tomorrow's going to be 67
My AC
degrees,
literally
bro.
just kicked on. It's gonna be what? 71?
It's going to be 67 degrees tomorrow, and this week is going to be. This whole week after that is going to be in the 70s. So
what are we heading to? What mountain that we're going to?
Mount Mitchell.
Mount Mitchell.
Mount Mitchell is a point of reference because it's. Have you been there, Rebirth?
I haven't.
It's the tallest mountain on the East Coast. You have to go all the way to like the Black Hills west to the next tallest mountain. So it's pretty.
Oh yeah,
impressive.
it's in North Carolina. Yeah, it's only like eight hours from me. 8 hours and 9 minutes away from me. That's an easy drive, though. That's an easy drive.
I mean,
can drive that
between
in-
us, we could all share. This is in North Carolina, Mount Mitchell.
Yep.
Good place
And like
to
you
start.
said, man, just carrying equipment, man. I'm gonna have to bring my laptop. I'm gonna bring
Well,
my
I got my
cameras.
walking. I have my walking sticks to do the walk and everything like that.
Okay. You're gonna carry Rebirth's laptop on your walk.
Well, I mean, we have the laptop and all that stuff in the car, but I have GoPros. We have GoPros.
Hard to pronounce.
I have 3 GoPros, so each one of us can have a GoPro. And you have your backpack, right? So
Yeah, I got,
we-
man. I have all kinds of stuff, bro. I got meta
I have a
glasses. I got
GoPro. I have a
gimbal.
Do you
GoPro.
remember how light I traveled to Arizona?
Well, you didn't bring anything. What are you talking to me? How
Yeah,
light? You
I
didn't bring shit.
I brought one bag.
You didn't bring. You're like, oh, I should have brought this. You didn't bring.
I don't think so.
You didn't bring anything. I had to bring the speakers and everything. I brought a whole suitcase.
Didn't I have a speaker too?
No, you didn't bring anything. Well, there was a speaker attached to the.
No, yeah, the projector had a speaker.
Yeah, but my speaker was a freaking
So
a
what are we
real
gonna do
boombox.
this-
I had a boombox.
What are you guys going to work on this week? Maybe that's something we can give people something to look forward to. And of course, we got to see everybody Wednesday in the green room, which is the X Spaces, where we have a nice little chat, and everybody can jump in on that chat. I mean, you guys can jump in on this chat too. If anybody ever wants to make a video or audio appearance, let me know.
Hey, are we gonna tent it out there?
I don't know. Maybe.
Are we gonna do a one night tent out? Are we gonna tent it out?
We should have a chat so it's all clear and we all agree ahead of time.
Should I bring my telescope?
I got mine over there too.
I mean, if you're going to Mount Mitchell, you might want to, right?
I mean, it might not be a clear night, so you don't know.
What are you guys gonna work on this week, Rebirth?
I'm going to stick more to doing my boots on ground stuff, going to historical places and producing the videos. I have about 15 videos that I need to upload. I've been doing them once every 2 weeks or once every week, but I'm gonna keep doing that. And plus, I'm gonna start doing more of what I've learned from reading this book on my YouTube channel. So what I like to do, just a quick synopsis of what I do for the people that's listening, is I like to visit historical places around America and do videos on them. I record on my gimbal. I have a camera. I have meta glasses. So I'm grabbing, you get a first person point of view of when you look into these museums. Just this weekend, I went to a Pirates Museum and a Prohibition Museum.
Cool, double cool.
Yeah,
I'd like both of those.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sometime next week, I'm going to go to this place in St. Simon's Island that has carvings in trees.
Oh.
Pictures, boats, and then they just carve inside of trees, and these trees are still alive. So
Jesus, you and I, we should try to, like, from our separate places, maybe we should try to match Rebirth's energy this week. And try to
have shit over here. You talk.
There's always something.
Mine is naval ships. What the hell are you talking about?
That's something,
I got British Royal Navy and all that.
Cool.
I mean, I got nothing over here.
Share with people.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean that's nothing? That's something.
I mean, you guys want the. I
might just go to the woods.
My stuff is as close as the Boston Tea Party and a bunch of murderous Confederates.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. On that note, on that pleasant note,
I'm deep in the knee of the Confederates. You know, I don't know if you guys want to hear about all this.
It's still history, right?
Yeah, I'm not our history. What we're looking for is more of indigenous stuff.
Well, sometimes you got to take.
Yeah, I visit mounds too. I visit the Native American mounds and stuff.
Yeah, we don't have any of that stuff. I mean, unless it's all been destroyed here. Yeah,
you probably do. I would do your research.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace in the Middle East. That sounds facetious.
Let's stay and talk for a second. After
okay.
This.
All right. I am ending the streams. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That goes for you, Post and Aaron and capital letter A. Mr. Sauer for telling the story about his wife, Kevin Sounder. And who else showed up? Anybody else? I think that covers it. Parrot started off.
We got a Canadian in the house right there too.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Ontario representing.